Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This is going to be a reading. I'll start pulling cards out. Spring break is almost over. I did a couple things. I got the boots that I wanted and I did wear them today because I went to the library. I printed my pattern or a free pattern that I'm knitting. So it's the Lillehammer 1994, and this is an Olympian sweater. So I figured I would go to the library and get the physical copies so I could look at the charts next to each other. There's another chart too for this, for the sleeves. So I'm happy I got there on time because they shut the computers and printers, or I guess the system down earlier. And I don't know why the computer, did it go darker? I plugged it in. Well, it's plugged in right now. But, it's 10 cents per page and it's just black and white that they have. And that's like what I would get anyway. I saw at Staples it's 24 cents per page. So that is definitely more expensive. And they also have a night called like crochet night. So and they said that if you knit, that's like cool too. So I would bring my knitting stuff most likely. I haven't crocheted in a while. And then if I'm not knitting, I'm doing other things. Like I've been sewing a lot lately, and I have my loom here where I'm finishing a project, and I gotta get back to spinning because I'm using the yarn or the fiber that I'm spinning up for the next project that goes on the loom. So those are things. And then I don't really have to get up really early today, but I have a vaccine appointment because it's mandatory for my course to get the MMR and the hepatitis B vaccine. MMR is like measles, mumps, rubella, I believe that's how you say it, and then the hepatitis B. So I figured I would get them both at the same time, and that's also because there's like a time frame of when I'm supposed to hand in those documents. I could have gotten it earlier, but I figured if I get it tomorrow, um, if I needed to wait a month to get another shot, like if there's a series of shots, like I feel maybe the hepatitis B might be a series of shots, like maybe another one. And if that's the case, then I would get the other shot in the time frame that I need to. And so I'm like really pushing it, like I'm kind of pressed for time since I was supposed to do this. But I feel like it'll be okay. There's a lot to answer on the appointments for setting up your vaccines. So hopefully it's just straightforward. I don't have a prescription or anything. I just am getting it for Oh, of course. And for these, I don't know. I think it should be okay. There feels like uh invigoration, like there's being revitalized or some type of energy flow because I have a couple of oracle cards. The passion card with Archangel Haniel, trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career, and claircognizance, Archangel Uriel, pay attention to thoughts and ideas that come to you as they are answered prayers. It kind of reminds me I have class this week, so there's time to do other things. Not like I didn't have time to do things before, but I would like to get a really, really part-time job. Like, I'm not looking for a lot, so I don't know. I'm seeing. Oh, that's interesting, because in the future, in the last reading, it was the Six of Wands too. So it does feel like things coming together, and I do feel that it can be collective, as if like there's some type of teamwork. It could be with partners, it could also be like through an organization because you have the Three of Cups, and this isn't like a specific like US reading, but with people banding together, they're rallying. Is it rallying? I'm so sorry if it's not. It's like they're riding um with everything that's happening. It's almost as if like we're like, well, for me, I'm like, okay, well, I didn't vote for you, but since you're in the White House, I guess we can start with lowering the prices of eggs and then eventually doing stuff to lower the cost of living. And then the response is like, okay, I got you. Let me just deport all these citizens out of the country. And um, in the meantime, I'll just piss off a lot of the other countries. And we're just like, no, like, what are you talking about? So I feel like with the Six of Wands, since it is minor arcana, there does seem to be baby steps, but a little could go a long way. This is like a great sign, though. I just feel like there's really good things coming along the way, and this could be different for everybody. I feel like with Ukraine, you guys have the strong representation with the Sun card because I don't know if it's, well, obviously there's sunflowers there, but at least with the US, we're kind of like, okay, Ukraine sunflowers. So you have the sun here and then the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups is like that sense of accomplishment of something that gets done and or something that like is being received and being received well. And both are pretty joyful cards, and there's like an alignment that comes along. This could be like a divine or self alignment. This could even be a universal alignment too. With these, not with the Nine of Cups and the Sun, it's like a lot of glorification where you might even get that recognition because the Six of Wands can link to having that recognition or being recognized in maybe a field or place that you're at or how far you've come. Again, with this collective, typically with the Six of Wands in like the traditional imagery, you'll see that there's like more than one person on the card and they're riding on their horse, and then people are like cheering them on as if they're like coming into town and they've gone on this journey, or like they fought something and they've won something for um that part of the world. So I do feel like there is that sense of winning. And as I said before, like a win is a win. And like when that happens, you could celebrate those things. Doesn't have to be like a big celebration, but just like in your mind, giving yourself your own recognition or even like a pat on the back. And maybe it means a lot because if you get that pat on the back or like getting recognized in at the right time, the right moment, things just can really change drastically, like in an instant. I feel like with this Nine of Cups is minor arcana, but when it's combined, well, Nine of Cups is an overall a super positive card, and like as a Libra, I kind of like to see more than just the positives and negatives. But with the Sun card, it's one of those cards that just automatically uplift the reading for me because it hasn't really been argued that it would be the best card in the deck, even if it can be in a like a reverse position. It wouldn't really be much of a reversal because it has so many um, positive connotations to it. Let's see the other oracle cards. And today I pulled out a lot of oracle cards. So this is one of those cards that like even when it's not in a reading, I still get reminded of it. And it's Peace, Archangel Chamuel. Peace comes from remembering that only love is real. And you know what to do. Archangel Uriel, trust your inner knowledge and act upon it without delay. I feel like it would link a lot to the claircognizance. And it's also a Uriel card too, Archangel Uriel. Pay attention to thoughts and ideas as they come to you as their answered prayers. So that feels like it's a double confirmation because Uriel tends to be um, that kind of um, mindful type of archangel, communicative and looking at those types of details in life, at least for the humanity. So there's the King of Swords and Seven of Wands. So there's an archetype, and then well, both are from the Minor Arcana, the Seven of Wands. There's definitely an endurance that comes from the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands, um, it's almost like getting out of situations that can not be the most stable, even if it's coming from the Six of Wands. The Seven of Wands also maintains integrity. There's a sense of needing to keep powering through, and the worst isn't over, but you've accomplished so much. And with the swords, like the King of Swords, there's a lot of logic that comes into it and like ideas. There is the truth and honesty that could come from different situations and different people, or a person. And that seems to be an energy that I don't feel like it's the main energy, this King of Swords. I feel like these energies aren't necessarily on the same page. And the Seven of Wands, overcoming obstacles and willpower, rising above, stamina. So you could connect it with the Seven of Wands, but at the same time, I just feel like there's something that is distant about that Seven of Wands with the King of Swords. And I feel like it links to, like, you know what to do. That is with the Judgment card. Judgment card. Finalization. Visual. This also says upheaval too. And in its own way, it's at the end of the Major Arcana. So it's not quite finished the cycle of the Fool's Journey. But in a way, it is a new beginning. It's a different type of beginning. I really feel like it links to peace, Archangel Chamuel. Peace comes from remembering that only love is real. Okay, I really feel like something good will happen. But it does feel like there is going to be bumps or like obstacles or things to rise above. But you have another Nine of Cups here. How to overcome the obstacle. I didn't see what the obstacle was yet. And then with that one, it's the Five of Wands. Five of Wands and even the Seven of Wands, both of them just feel like, well, the Five of Wands kind of feels like target practice. It feels like a sense that there's training that goes along with it. Um, Six of Wands is something that you feel that that went well. And then Seven of Wands, it kind of pushes those limits as if you gone to the next level and it's saying, okay, since we know that you can handle this, let's see if how you do with this. And so I just feel that it reverts back to the Five of Wands, that there might be times where you're just constantly improving something. And since it's like a group mentality, like the Five of Wands there, then you could be seeing like either being challenged or trying to find ways to move forward as a team, or like if partners, if that's what it is for you. Um, it was fighting. It's kind of interesting because I was reading about like lefties and well, I wasn't reading, I was watching a video, a couple of videos, but because I'm a lefty, and I was like, well, okay, I'm a lefty. It doesn't really seem like much of a difference because maybe I'm used to it, but they were saying about like with left-handed fighting, some parts of the world, like the ones that I don't know if they're, I don't know what you call it, they tend to, they seem like a little secluded from the outside world. And then, but they fight a lot. I don't know what that would be. Like, it's almost tribal. And they say that a lot of those types of areas there, they tend to develop like left-handed people. And then fighting like in general, it, I guess it's like a different type of element of surprise when you're fighting and it's like fighting with your left hand or going against um, someone left-handed. And even animals, they have limb preferences, and different types of animals tend to use specific limbs or like maybe the their left arm or hand and right hands. And I'm thinking about like different types of, I don't know what you call, they're, I don't know if they're all monkeys, but they like a collective, the different, sorry, that was my short thing. The different types of like chimpanzees and orangutans and that area, they, some of them prefer using their left hand or right hand, if depending on which one you're talking about. So with that, it almost seems like expecting the unexpected. But when I feel like it's expecting the unexpected, I don't necessarily get that it's going to be a bad thing because you're getting, you have the, you have two Nine of Cups here and the Sun card. So it makes me believe that the good is coming along the way. I'm not sure if you would necessarily see it as good to begin with, but I feel that there might be like a uniqueness to it or something that is unusual about the circumstance, but somehow it tends to go together. And in a way, I don't know, like if you're thinking about relationships like opposites attracting, the obstacle for the reading. Oh, interesting. Because I was feeling like the king, there was something like with the King of Swords, because the obstacle is the King of Swords. And this isn't specifically a Gemini card, but Gemini is in like the air suit, and I'm not saying it's specifically a sign, but I'm just saying if you're thinking about air signs, Trump is a Gemini, and then Putin is a Libra. So, um, but I would normally link Gemini to the Knight of Swords. Again, I'm not reading for signs. And then for Libra, I would link it to the Queen of Swords, but you could link it how you want or to whatever situation. The overall energy is the Nine of Wands. There's a lot of like odd numbers here in this reading. Like there's a 3, the 5, 9, 7. So it just feels like something is odd. Like it's just a unique situation. And maybe things like kind of mend themselves, or at least like the beginning stages, direction that it takes a specific turn that maybe people weren't expecting. So the Nine of Wands, I do feel like it looked linked to the Seven of Wands. But there might be things that are getting taken care of, and they could have been things that have been happening, and maybe it got to a point where it escalated so much that it needed to be taken care of, or maybe there's like a deadline or something that has well, I am getting like it as if, well, when you do things, well, you have things on your list of things to do, and you don't do that thing, and you have other things that you have to do now because, like, kind of just it keeps getting piled up with other responsibilities, and so you still have that one thing that you haven't crossed off the list. I feel like that Nine of Wands is long due, even if maybe it hasn't, like in the worldly time, it hasn't happened for a long time, but maybe in your own life, it just has been going on for a super long time. I have other oracle cards. So this was a card from the last reading, or cards from the last reading. So gifts from God, Archangel Salvathon, may angels bring you gifts from your creator, open your arms to receive. And angel therapy, Archangel Raphael, give your cares and worries to us angels and allow us to take your burdens. I feel like there's something that the other readings have been doing is trying to give like reassurance that things just don't happen like, I don't know. There's bad things that happen in the world, but I feel like the world tries to correct it in some way. And a lot of people see the injustice in it. Um, I'm not sure with Elon Musk about what his intentions are, but kind of flipping the script of being like what Trump should and should not be doing at this point, and it seems like it was the opposite of what he was saying initially. So, um, again, this isn't a political channel. I'm not like a political person, but things just have been happening, and of course, things have been happening in other parts of the world too. It's almost like putting in a pressure that it breaks. And again, I'm not trying to make this like a political or even a sad reading, but with the Nine of Wands, it's like gradually putting pressure on something, and I feel like it could be linked to the King of Swords. And then it's almost like something has to give. And you even have the Ten of Swords here and the Four of Wands, so this says the her oh my god, sorry, Haim and Hearth. And with it saying defeated, I don't feel like um I feel like it would be, the good person finishes last type of situation too. So I wouldn't read too much into those words. In that way, at least. And even the Four of Wands, it's such a jovial card too, and for it to be matched up with the Ten of Swords. Because when I think about the Four of Wands, I think about like a banquet, I think about like celebration, people coming together. Traditionally, you see people that look like they're in a garden, and I don't know what you call it, like they have like pillars surrounding them as if like it's a place where maybe somebody reserved and now they're together in that area. So there is that type of matrimony that just kind of makes the thing or a situation or partnership move forward. Because with that Four of Wands, it almost seems like it's like a confirmation or like a consecrating something. And when I say that, it kind of reminds me of like confirmation too. And I'm not really like a religious person, but I did go to private school for most of my life, like elementary and high school. And in elementary school, we had confirmation, and there was a couple of different steps to lead up to it, like as you graduate elementary school. And we get like the oil to anoint us, and it has like a specific scent, and one of the main things is like so the devil can't catch you type of thing. So it's almost like close but no cigar. Is that what the saying is? So it is such a strange phenomena or like a paradox or like these certain card combinations, like this card combination, it just feels like the Four of Wands with the Ten of Swords because something surpasses or like the good in life wins. So, and you see like the bridge there, it's like kind of going past whatever those difficulties were. Oh man, I'm gonna have to take my vaccine. Oh, I have three cards in here. Um, and that's like five, which I just feel like there's odd numbers here. It's specific. A lot of odd numbers in this reading, and a couple threes, a couple nines, a five. There is a six here, but mainly odd numbers. Seven, nine, well, a couple nines. And then, well, these are even. This seems like to be the even cards coming from this deck. You have the Queen of Cups, the Coral Queen, and I feel that coral has significance in Ukraine too. And if you're linking it to signs, you could say Cancer, but I'm not linking the readings to signs. Yeah, the Strength, 8. So, well, Queen of Cups is not uh, an even number, it would be like 13. But there's 2, 8, 10, and 4 coming from the Universal Folk Tarot. So here's the Strength card, the Two of Wands. There's a Three of Wands in the past, and now the Two of Wands gets highlighted, and again the Four of Wands and the Ten of Swords. And I'll read the other oracle cards. So it's Prosperity, Archangel Ariel. Your material needs are provided for as you follow your intuition and manifest your dreams into reality. And then spread your wings, Archangel Ariel. Do not hold back right now. So two Archangel Ariels. Um, your timing is do not hold back right now. Your timing is perfect, and you're ready to soar. And I feel like that is, again, more of a opposite of what seems to be going on in the world. I feel like things might reset itself financially too. Then if you're waiting to get resources, I feel like um, either the resources are reserved or you'll get resources externally too. Because with coral, it seems to be a sign of wealth, at least from my understanding. And since there are resources that are wanted from that area or country, it just seems like it can be that type of preservation of it not being touched. Another way, it because it also reminds me of like things resetting itself because with how the market is right now, I feel like it just dropped like, and I think the US lost a couple of $1 trillion. So that's why I feel like things just like turning. But again, this isn't like an American reading, but I feel that with the strength card, and then there was the nine of wands, there's like an energy of if you can hold on um, to really stabilize the um, and even consecrating, that's like a blessing too, actually. So that could be linked to the Holy Spirit because I did do channeled messages towards the beginning of these readings, and it there was like the channeled messages and visions of the Holy Spirit, and this spirit was cleansing the lands, and it moved like methodically, and the voice of the spirit was a child because that is a pure form of a spirit, and I was actually gonna say angel. So, and it moved, and I was getting that you might be able to see the spirit. So there's the Two of Wands, the Dreamer, and it looks at the world because she's holding the orb there. I'm gonna pull out a couple more cards and that'll be the reading. I'm gonna, as I said, I'm gonna get the vaccines, and sometimes I get really cold from taking vaccines, and it might be because you tend to thaw out the vaccines ahead of time because you're taking it out of the fridge. And so you don't really want like a freezing vaccine going into the person. And if you know me, like, you know that I don't get cold easily. I don't necessarily get, well, I tend to be warm on the warmer side. I prefer frigid or cold weather, but I don't know if, like, I guess depending on the situation, I don't really sweat, but I don't really do like a lot of active things either. And sorry if this is TMI, but like, there's a dog here, and speaking of sweating, I like, it's weird because I don't sweat often. If I'm sweating on my face, it's mainly from like one spot, and it's my nose. And you know, like a dog has like a wet nose, and I'm near the dog too. So this could be like a personal journey as well. And with the strength there, maybe it you're reminded of the things that how of why you've come this far. Another Nine of Wands. And with the Two of Wands, it's almost like, what is she seeing, or what is this person seeing? And what does it mean? Because there could be, again, with like the messages, like claircognizance, but there also could be like certain visions or messages that could have been repeating. Because I see Temperance over here, Major Arcana, Strength, Major Arcana, and Sun, Major Arcana with the High Priestess. So High Priestess with the Temperance card, it really feels like you could have had specific messages coming in, and even increased activity, like increase maybe paranormal activity or like divine discovery or connections. Because there's so much that goes on in these times. And when I was talking about the Holy Spirit, I was linking it to like a movement type of card, but Temperance does have an angel on the card. So these could be direct messages. And there's something about it like it's not meant to be safe. And that could go with the High Priestess too, because when you go into these different modes or like channeling or getting these messages, it's not exactly like um, a ship at bay type of situation. Like ships are meant to do other things, and they're put in situations that are not safe at all. So that does feel like a big journey with it. And it's like you have the Ascendant here, the Nine of Wands with the Opportunist. And it kind of reminds me of like, I don't know, I've talked about this before, like Watership Down, and one of my favorite Netflix series. I don't watch a lot of Netflix, but I do really like that one. And it was based off a book, off of a book. I've never read the book. I was aware about the book until I saw the series. And it's like towards the end with Bigwig. Bigwig is one of those like rabbits that are the fighting ones. And they were going against different, like, there were other rabbits that were trying to get the does back and take over um, their area. And then Hazel, the leader of like Bigwig and those rabbits that are trying to have like a kind of a peaceful, harmonious place. Um, he went off on his own quest to do some other things that were helping with the battle, if you will. And then Bigwig was like waiting for Hazel to come back. And it was almost like he was about to be like killed by the other rabbit of the other I forget what you call it. Oh my god. The other Warren and Hazel came back because he went to the farm that seemed deadly because they tried to stay away from humans. Um, because animals, they say like they get what they need, and then humans, like they aren't satisfied and they keep taking. So Hazel went to the farm, and then there's like a dog that would attack the rabbits. So he brought the dog, and was it turned out well for their Warren, and they ended up living long after that altercation. And with Hazel, it's a specific, and I like the representation because the rabbit wasn't one that was necessarily like the fighting type of rabbit or the one that does this or does that, but it was like fighting for um, a peaceful cause, if you will, and having like that care that went into it. So I feel like there was a good message with that. Again, I didn't read the book, so I'm just going off the series, like the Netflix series. The Seven of Swords is here, and there's not that much water that is in this. It almost feels like the water has like there's in a way it's been there's like a drought in it. Um, but I feel like the Queen of Cups could be that reminder too, because there can be a lot of emotions that are and things needing to be tended and cared for. That tends to be like the Queen of Cups energy. And with the Seven of Swords, it's like kind of doing things when it's necessary or when you can. I feel like there's a lot of like necessity that goes into it. With the Six of Swords, I'm not really getting a lot of water, but there is water here. And in the show, it's like, we followed you for a better life, Hazel, a better life. Me just quoting it at this point. Because the other rabbits, they were originally from a warren, but there wasn't a lot of equality there. So Hazel's brother, Fiver, I don't know if they were really brothers, but they referred to themselves as brothers. He was like kind of the weird psychic rabbit that the other rabbits, they were kind of like, um, I know you don't, I know that it can be strange and it's weird for you sometimes too. Like he was talking to Hazel about it, but I feel like something bad is coming to Sandalford and we need to leave. And then Hazel was like, trusted Fiverr, and he's like, okay, well, we'll try to recruit people, and then um, there were some rabbits that came, and some rabbits that like you're like, no, this is our home. We're just going to stick with this. But then there were other things that happened, so I'm not gonna go through like the whole show, but there was a lot of depth to it in terms of like a cartoon or an animated series. It wasn't really lighthearted, but it wasn't like super um heavy either. I feel like the book might have been more, but uh with the Six of Swords and the Seven of Swords, it just feels like it's trying to make its way and it's trying to move its like take its steps forward or like go into that boat and take those chances when you can. And in the end, Hazel did meet a rabbit that kind of like matched his energy. There was another thing that like I feel like I was going to say in this reading that it's not coming to me now. But there are this is different, but like with wolf packs, I thought it was interesting. Um that there's like some shows that well, because my dad had it on, and this one dog that um didn't know how to operate on their own. And so the trainer brought the dog to the other dogs that belonged to the trainer. And then the dogs weren't going to, they were trained to like do specific things and to not attack unless something happened. And then the dog understood like what was happening because the dog was like being told or the other dogs were letting him know or the dog know that you could be in our group but you have to know like who you are in the group. So there seems to be that type of recruitment in that way, but it is moving forward and it seems like everyone, it's not just like one person, it's everyone that moves forward. So hopefully there weren't any too many tangents. So thank you guys so much for watching. I feel like I might do a reading tomorrow, or I wanted to try to do other readings or videos because I do have to go back to class. But even though that's another thing that's kind of strange, like if when I'm applying for jobs, like they might feel like, oh, so you only go 1 day a week, and I'm just like, the rest is online and it's like comprehensive things. It's not just me just waiting once a week to do the one class. I have assignments and quizzes and things to finish before going in person. The one in person is like aside from the lab things and like the interactive type of things that we're learning. Um, Oh, that's another thing. Like, there's more than just making money. And I feel that that's like kind of, well, is a really important thing when it comes to like presidency, that you can't like start fights or like force other countries to do your bidding. That's not like diplomatic. And there's, different discussions about it. Like, this isn't for like the US. We don't have a queen, we don't have a king, and we definitely don't have slaves here. So we have people here, and there is that sense of equality and the things that we do and how we do them. It just hasn't been reflected off of those types of core values that I hopefully it seems like the US. I know sometimes we come off like kind of like I don't know, obnoxious or strong or like headstrong in a way, but um I feel like I mean well. But what was I talking about with what I kind of interrupted myself. Mm, should I pause it for a second? Well, I was just talking about applying for jobs. I guess maybe that's where I was going with it. So I did do a couple updates on my resume because you don't have want to have like gaps at all, but you don't really have especially wide gaps of unemployment. Because I was taking care of my aunt when I was in my hometown. So I'll see with that. But I kind of went on different tangents. But hopefully I said what I needed to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in another reading, and I haven't said it in a while, but as the deck says, glory to Ukraine, and I feel like there are things that you could look forward to in the future.